by now, 25% of CEOs in China are women. Digital platforms fulfill millions of entrepreneurial dreams. According to Accenture, digitalization may be the greatest opportunity for women in the history to empower themselves to create their own economic future. We all know that to become the entrepreneurial is very hard, but it is even harder for women to become entrepreneurs. There are three major obstacles holding women entrepreneurs back. How to keep work and life balance, how to access systematically this financial support and capacity building, and how to access the global resources. So today, my first question is, what do you think are the obstacles for women entrepreneurs?
Well, it's interesting, the first two that you identified, the balancing family and work life. You know, I think the digitization allows for more flexible work time, so I think that can be very helpful and can actually remove some of those barriers. And then the second one you listed was access to capital, access to money, and so building those networks that women feel that they're a part of. That again, I think, is something that government can help to facilitate, and that's to my first story. We have to make sure that when we put programs like that in place, that we're not cutting out a segment of the population, and that we understand that our criteria include all of the innovations that are brought forward.
Actually, there seems to be that perception that women are not digitally smart. It's not true. That's only a perception, and probably that perception, you know, is sort of based on a lot of the social economic bias. And I know Stanford, actually, there's a very famous lady, Fei Fei, who actually had a program called Code for Girls. And she is also working hard, and she set up this program to try to change that perception. And she found, and through talking to her, she found out that actually women are great coders. It's not true that women are digitally disadvantaged at all. I think one of the key challenges in our modern times, especially in digital era, is I think number one is that the government regulation. I think government regulation is key to changing and transforming the work balance and also the promotion of women. I think also the second challenge is from probably women and education system, the way we are brought up. There's still a lot of barriers just from from our families, from our husbands, from our sons, from our the employer's side. I mean, there's all kinds of these forces that are quite dynamic. So we ourselves have to come out continuously to talk about these women issues.
This is Em. I'd love to just jump in on the conversation. I see global companies and increasingly Chinese companies as they go global with a strong commitment, not just to hit the metrics, but the other side is the inclusive environment, right? How do we make sure we have an inclusive environment so that when women have courage to be themselves, they are heard? There was one thing I kept bumping up against doing the women's leadership work inside companies, and that is trust. Because if we're always working inside companies talking about, okay, we want to get women into leadership positions, we can only really talk about safe things when we're sitting as colleagues inside a boardroom. So I really started to explore the idea of bringing different women together to create a safe environment.
We actually, starting in 2013, we started doing annual surveys of what women want in China. What do they want in their careers? What do they want in their family? What do they want in terms of their personal development? And every single year, consistently, we found three things that people feel like they lack. Lack of confidence, lack of networks, and lack of role models. So why is entrepreneurship and technology, why are they such empowering forces? Because they help break down these barriers when there are biases going into hiring positions. When people start their own businesses, and technology is the way to make starting businesses a lot easier, people don't choose who you are. People, consumers, businesses choose by whether they like your products and services.
So, see, my second question is, how do you think the technology, especially the digital technology, can create the right opportunity for the entrepreneurs?
Yeah, that's where I was just going to allude to, which was even though we have that labor law, which is in a way at the state-owned level, SOP level, it's when they're thinking about less hiring women. On the other hand, I see that in the private sector and in the entrepreneur level, that actually the digitalization is actually enabling women much more. Yeah, flexibility, remote work, and remote office. You can work from home.
My hope would be that if we do see this potential in digital, then as we reach a critical mass of women involved in taking leadership, that they will be at other decision-making tables as well. That will translate into women taking a role in large established companies, women taking a role in politics, in government. So that all of those good qualities that women bring to their entrepreneurial lives, that the broader society will of course benefit because they are involved in those businesses, but that will translate into the cultural shift that needs to happen in all of our jurisdictions so that those decision-making tables have women there as well.
Yeah, I love that point. I think we as women professionals or entrepreneurs, we have to take action every day, basically, not really relying on other people. I think the only person, my model is the only person who can change is myself. So it's really changing myself and taking action.
On one hand, we see some positive sides, many studies, but on the other hand, we're not satisfied with the results. So, what public and private sectors can work together to create a better environment for women entrepreneurs?
Women do bear more of the brunt of housework, expectation to take care of children and the elderly more in most cultures, most places in the world. And I really think that we need to bring in men into the conversation. I feel that for both Em and I, we both have young children, and they have been as supportive to our careers as we have been supportive to their careers. So how do we can create this multi-gendered conversation about how to make this work? How do we all, regardless of gender, how are we able to pursue our own definitions of success? And so we really need enlightened individuals on all sides to be able to support one another in moving this forward.
Yeah, and again, I've spent most of my time partnering with the private sector, right? And I do see an acknowledgement that, okay, we want to develop women. I mean, put people in a space that's safe, because what I see in China is it's not necessarily a skills block. It's a vulnerability block, and it's much less about some professional glass ceiling than it is about life and my relationship to all the key people I need, work and personal, but also just my relationship to myself.
Okay, so due to the time limitation, I think we have to end this session right now. So thank you all for sharing. Yeah, I think that today we are facing the unprecedented technology revolution. So innovations in big data, in cloud computing, etc., significantly release the woman potential. So we hopefully that we can see more and more public and private sectors working together to create a better environment for women entrepreneurs. Thank you for participating.
Thank you.